we're going to go to .gg. We're going to pop this over. There we go. That should work. Hopefully, as people join us, they're able to see this. We are at 20 seconds, so I can help this guy out. So I've got a bunch of rosters to review this morning. I have Conquest. Not Conquest. Holy shit! I need my day 6 TB to happen. I need to get my raids done before my guild starts yelling at me because there's only 11 hours left in the raid, and I need to get it all done in the next 3 hours before my wife wakes up and we head to a movie. I'm trying a new setup today with a whole dual screen from my PC, so bear with me as I try to figure all of that out and maneuver some different processes. So let's get ourselves started, shall we? First one up is Acta. I'm gonna pull up this guy's Discord. All right, let's see what we got here. Looking for help with his roster. Assault battles, CT 1 of 7, CT 1 1 of 7, CT 2 2 of 7, CT 3 2 of 7. The fact that he's doing CT 1 1 of 7 and CT 2 2 of 7 tells me that he might have misinterpreted how I asked him to do it. So he's probably actually doing 2, 4, 5 out of 7 of the assault battles at CT1, but we'll take a look. Shard is all Leviathans, committed to finishing my Cal farmed around at my raid team. General goal is to be better in GAC. I've been juggling different plans, including focusing on building up good GAC Omicron teams, or focus on Inquisitors to get the Chimera Empire fleet, or go to Profundity. I'd started on Profundity for a bit before switching to Executor. After one or two of those, I was thinking to move to JMLRC. I'm interested in your maximum efficiency take. Assume I don't care having my fun at all. I don't care about having my own fun. Oh, yeah, okay. So he said this afterwards. CT1 is 5 of 7, CT2 is 4 of 7, CT3 is 2 of 7. And that happens sometimes. We kind of mess with it a little bit. We figure it out. It's all good. So let's pull this up on my screen. There we go. Perfect. And hopefully everybody's seeing that. I've been having trouble at the beginning of my streams with it popping up on the screen. So on my end, it looks good. Let's close some of this shit down. Let's see, 5.8 million account. Let's check out this arena page. Okay, so I talked to this guy maybe 3 or 4 days ago, and it sounded like he maybe didn't have Executor, or maybe I was misunderstanding. So at the very least, in that short time frame, he has gotten Executor. I'm curious to see where we're at with it before we do anything else. Executor. So Executor is 5 stars, and the top 20 is all Leviathan. So it is unlikely at 5 stars that he's going to be able to work with his fleet Discord. I would say it might be worth checking in with them. They're not going to drop their fleets for you or anything, but if you're not already talking to them, at the very least getting into contact, making sure that they're the type of shard that's going to welcome you in once you are able to get in there, just because it is going to increase your crystal income a hell of a lot. Understanding, of course, that right now with a 5-star Executor that's not necessarily going to be on the table. It looks like from here we have bought both of the Lightspeed bundles. I can't think of any other reason for somebody to do Rey and Supreme Leader Kylo Ren first, which is fine. You know, I think they're both low priority GLs otherwise. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Sith Eternal. Vader. Alright. That makes sense. We probably bought that bundle as well. It's a pretty good deal for newer characters. I mean, if you have the disposable income for it. Jabba. We have Executor. We're not terribly far off from Profundity. And we are committed to Cal. Though I don't know if we mean Cal as in baby Cal, because you specifically refer to your Ray team. But that farm shouldn't take too long if that's what we're talking about. Let's just take a look. Yeah, with Seer... well, maybe we're going for Marin. Tarful, and then Cal. Okay. So I'm going to go off the assumption that we're working just on baby Cal for that Ray team, which isn't really that hard. I think it's an 8 node, right? 8 energy cantina node. So if you really go after that, he's either accelerated at this point or is very close to being accelerated. I think it's the latter. It should take about 2 weeks. That's really not that much of a problem. I'm curious about AdRad. Okay, I want to check out some of these ships, like the U-Wing. Actually, I need to check out both U-Wings. Going by... We have both. Where's Outrider? Outrider's at 4 stars. Okay. Let's see what Malgus is looking at. Yesterday, someone asked me in Discord, it was really funny. He was like, you know, what do you see people eating during brunch with Egnards? And I never really thought of that because it doesn't make sense for me to eat. But I hope at least everybody brought a drink. I've got my mimosa here. Alright, let's check out Malgus. Don't have Malgus yet. Let's see how our Sith are. Not terrible. Okay. And we're doing CT1 on 5 of 7, so I am going to assume that it is Night Sisters and probably Inquisitors. Yeah, so the Night Sisters are shit, which is fine. I normally tell people that 5 out of 7 of them are worth doing early on. Yep, and Inquisitors, as figured. So my normal goal is CT1 on 5 out of 7 of the Assault Battles is super important to an early to mid-game account. Inquisitors and Night Sisters, even though I'm super advocating for Night Sisters in the late game, and I think they're amazing in the late game, the ROI isn't necessarily there until you start using these teams. So where we're at with the Assault Battles is fairly good right now. I would like to see, I think we're doing 2 at CT3. I'd like to see that picked up. I'm assuming that Supreme Leader Kylo Ren has to do with one of them. Okay, so we're probably doing Places of Power and definitely here. So Military Might makes the most sense. For those of you watching at home, yesterday somebody messaged me, and I always knew that Commander Luke Skywalker, Chewpio, C-3PO, and Han with Mon Mothma could do this on auto. He messaged me that he was able to do it at G12 Mon Mothma with no mods. I posted it on Reddit, and a bunch of people said they actually got it with like a G9 Mon Mothma. So if there's any of you at home who haven't done that yet, I know it was yesterday, but keep that in mind for next month. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Alright, let's see. I want to just get a full picture of what I'm looking at here. Okay. Jedi Master Luke. And let's look at these troopers. Alright. Troopers are not in great shape, but that is fine. Let's see what we got our Omicrons on. It's interesting that we put the Omicron on Radis so early. I know a bunch of people did it right away when it first came out, but we're at a different boat right now. Okay. And Dash probably from Star Killer. All right, let's head back. I'm gonna check out. Treya's not up, and let's take a look at Wampa. Okay, Wampa's not up, and oh boy, all right, not giving me a lot to work with here. I think that we need to start working on Wampa and Hermit Yoda literally yesterday. We have, if I remember correctly, a 5-point-something million account. Let's just confirm that. Yeah, 5.8 million account. We need to start working towards Jedi Master Luke as soon as possible. As a 5.8 million account, you need to have Jedi Master Luke if you really want to invest in those conquest characters. And traditionally, those conquest characters are super, super important, right? We have Bane coming up, who isn't going to be important necessarily to this account, but we've seen in the past with Malgus and Malgus's ship just how vital and just how mean almost that CG can be in terms of prioritizing, really high-end characters for, the metas. So it's something you want to keep on top of, even if you're not unlocking characters in 3 months. Being able to do it in that 4 to 5 month spot is going to be super, super helpful to you. Sound good. I don't know why I'm not getting my YouTube chat in here. I think that some of you guys are, but I'm going to figure that out in a second as I also pull this up. So we need to start working on Hermit and Wampa is going to be another really great option in terms of, what you're going to need for GAC, which I know is something that you were kind of talking about being a part of what you consider super important. Jedi Knight Luke and Yoda and Hermit Yoda, they're going to give you what you need for CT3 in... holy shit, I need my coffee, that's what I need. They're going to give you CT3 in the Jedi Assault Battle, but it's also going to bring you a little bit closer to Profundity as well. And I see and I know that you have what is essentially a 5-star Executor, but in reality, we're also going to kind of want to think towards the new meta that's going to be coming up, right? And that new meta, it's going to be tough, I think. It's going to be tough, I think, to really compete with an Executor, right? So we're looking at like that 6 to 7 month range right now, and we're not... With Executor 3 years out at that point, I don't necessarily know if you're this close to Profundity, if it's worth gearing up that Executor super quickly. I don't think you're going to see a major ROI on it. That doesn't necessarily mean that Profundity is going to be useful in the next meta, but what it does mean is Executor was useful with Leviathan, and it's likely going to be a safer option to push past that 5-star and prioritize refreshes. So what I think I would be doing with this account is kind of prioritizing Profundity a little bit in the shorter term, working on Hermit and Wampa right now, right? Working towards Jedi Master Luke so that you have that conquest asset, so that you build that other assault battle. And then I would probably go towards Jabba. Jabba's a really high priority GL. I was talking to someone about this, who hopefully is going to join us later, Bones. What GLs are really high priority for a mid-tier account, what GLs are really a low priority. And Jabba's just a super high priority GL, essentially because there's a high ROI on his modding ability and that mod energy that you're going to be getting from the Smuggler's Run 2 event. You're also going to get that CT3 that you kind of want from Rebel Roundup, so that's going to add to what you're already doing. And you're going to have a really solid GL for GAC, for TW, and for Conquest. You know, I especially really like him when it comes to those like non-Ufu feats and like no Sith, no Jedi and things like that. It can be incredibly useful for that. As I said just a minute ago, I don't know why, but with my streaming stuff right now, I see on my tiny screen that people on YouTube are chatting. It's not popping up on my multi-stream. My eyesight is not 10/10, so I am slightly distracted trying to pull that up on my other screen as well, and I apologize for that. But I do think that profundity is going to be important here. I do think that a Wampa Omicron is warranted for this account as just a quick GAC thing. I do think Jedi Master Luke is going to be short-term priority, and I do think that Jabba is the next best thing to go for after that. I would maybe recommend as a GAC player that the Traya team is going to be a useful thing to go towards, you know, as well. I've done it pretty recently, and Bones, you back already? I did it pretty recently, and I'm super happy about it, and happy about getting it done. I think when we're talking short term, we're talking about like 5 to 7 months or so. So we're going to see like a road ahead at that point. We're going to see other things coming up at that point, and I think it's worth maybe reassessing then. My man Bones, if you are ready, you know, I'll get you another link and we'll see if we can kind of tag team some of this stuff. That would be a lot of fun, man. And then I wouldn't have to worry too much about this. So I don't want to necessarily say we're going to take a short break right now, but it'll give me a second to try and pull these up on my other computer so that I can see the live chat while also seeing if we can get you in here. Let me see. I'm going to pull this up. We're going to pop over to this. We are going to take this. I'm going to get you that link in just a second, my man. I think it's the same link, but whenever you're ready. And let me see if I can figure this crap out. YouTube. Ba-da-da-da-da. We're just taking a short break so that I can figure this crap out. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Why won't this thing edit your streaming phone? No, YouTube is working. Don't know why. Switched over. Let's see. Open chat settings. Show mod icons. Hate this stupid software. Task review, recent models, switch to mods. don't know why, and I can't seem to pull up the chat. Maybe if I just, oh, you know what, I guess I could do it this way. It's kind of annoying, but if I were to just mute myself there. I don't know why it's not letting me do this. Key is working. Health stream settings. Set feedbacks. Those of you just joining us, we're just taking a quick break to fix something real quick. Okay, I think I've been able to pull this up onto my other so that I can actually see the chat over here. I don't know why that's not working. Okay, so I am going to move on. Hopefully, Bones, once you're all done and everything, you're going to be able to join me. We are going to pop on to our next review. And I will be less distracted now. So I'm going to pull this up. Wayke. Let's see. Account. Oh, okay. This is fun. This is totally outside my wheelhouse, but we're gonna see what happens here. Account is 150 days old. Hyperdrive, Lightspeed, and moderate spending. So a completely brand new account. Interesting. All right. Me and another guy rushed Executor, so we each sit at 1 and 2 daily. Everything else is Lightspeed bundles. Assault Battles, CT1 3 of 7, that's pretty impressive for brand new. CT2 2 of 7. Overall gold just unlocked. SLKR, oh alright, okay. Finished ult, farming currently. Ewoks for C3PO will be done in about 35 days, bringing CLS team to relics. Also finishing Captain Rex, 25 days off, and Zori, 50 days off. So this is somebody who has some degree of understanding of the math in the game. About to have Wampa at 7 stars, currently have Rolo and Hondo at 5 stars. Was planning to go for Genet Luke after I finished the CLS team. Then the direction is a bit up in the air. I'm thinking JMLS or Leia as the next direction. I'll have Nessa and Rex farmed up at that point, only 30 days from 7-star Nessa. I'm assuming whichever one I go for, I would just pivot towards the other immediately after. Really, my curiosity comes from which direction to go, or if there's a third option that I'm not looking at. Alright, so we're going to pull this up, we're going to check it out, we're going to see what's going on here. That's Bones, that's alright, man. I appreciate you, and whenever you're available, I totally get it. This is why I stream in the morning when it's really quiet. And this account is actually literally exactly what we were kind of talking about last night. You know, newer account, but has spent what seems to be a decent amount of money to get to 4 million. Between the hyperdrive bundle is $50. The 2 Lightspeed bundles is another so 70 total. If he bought the Rebel bundle, that's 20, right? The Beskar bundle, that was I think another 20. So we probably dropped about $100 to $120 in the game. Star Killer, so he definitely bought the Star Killer. So $150 in half a year. I mean, I could see that being, you know, in Dolphin territory, depending on if this person is planning on spending that money long term. So just want to take a look at what else we have here, see where we're going at. We have Executor, we're getting those Fleet Crystals, which is super nice. Profundity, Afra, okay, Leviathan. And what's nice is we really don't have to worry about Leviathan anytime in the near future. It's a very new shard. So that's not going to be too much of a problem. What I'm going to say, and this is, I think, Bones, where if you were on the stream right now, we'd be arguing a little bit. I kind of disagree with going for Leia next. I just see her as a super low priority GL for a newer game account. For me, as a higher end player or as a later game player, Leia is a really nice option. You know, she kind of gives you everything that you need to for the raid and for that Ender Escalation 3. But Ender Escalation 3 it's not a great event. Like, it's nice free stuff on top of everything else, but it's not a great event. The ROI on it is relatively small, and it only works well in this is a bonus freebie that I'm getting. And then we're also looking at a new raid. I think we're 2 to 3 months in. So we're looking at a new raid in the next 5 to 6 months. By the time you get Leia, you're not really contributing anything by putting her into your raid roster. I just don't think it's great looks to go after that, right? So we've got SLKR. We're working on finish. Did we finish Rey? It looks like we've probably finished Rey. Yeah, so we have finished her. We have 2 GLs. I think Jedi Master Luke is a really solid next step. You know, I think I personally would go after C, but I 100% see Jedi Master Luke based on what I'm looking at with your account. I just want to kind of see where we're at with Wampa and Hoda. Close here. Hermit Yoda. Okay, I mean, one of the big reasons for going to... Well, there's a few reasons to go for Jedi Master Luke. Number one, you're going to get CT3 in the Military Might Assault Battle. You're going to get CT3 with a Jedi Knight Luke lead on the Ground War Assault Battle. He is hands down, I think it's pretty much undisputed, the best conquest unit that you can possibly have. He just does such a solid amount of work, and he puts in so much effort. Even at 11.3 million, I use him for everything to kind of cheese different feats. And at your GP, you might not max conquest, but it'll give you a really leg up, a really good leg up, so that you'll be able to have those characters in that 4 or 5 month time frame really easily without too much problem, especially if you are a spender and you're planning on dropping like on the $10 box or the $10 pack every month for the kind of like battle pass for conquest. So I do think I see a lot of reason for going for Jedi Master Luke. And you're also at a point in the game, you know, people talk about Jedi Master Luke being really shitty in GAC because he doesn't hold on defense because he has so many counters. There's no such thing as a bad GL, especially at your level of the game. There just isn't. You know, you're going to be playing against players either that are insanely higher than you and you're not going to stand a chance, or you're going to be playing against players who are much lower than you, and they're not going to stand a chance against your 3 GLs at that point. I think instead of going for Leia after, you know, Jabba, after Jedi Master Luke, I would really strongly consider going for Jabba. He just is a much higher ROI character for pretty much any account. And it looks like you don't have any of those marquees even started yet, but they're all accelerated. So you're looking at a 3-month timeline on all of them, except for Kursatan, just because he's Cantina, which means that you're going to get that in like a week and a half if you put all of your Cantina energy towards that, assuming, you know, 3 refreshes a day. And since you are hitting that top slot in fleet, you have the crystal income to be able to do that. And that's what pretty much any player at the mid to high end is doing anyway. Christian, good morning. First of all, I didn't message you back this morning because I was so busy setting up shit for this and changing my setup and everything. But thank you for the beer, obviously, and I love the picture. I know I sent you about that of the Egnards sticker on the water bottle. Jabba, I think, is solid for a few reasons. One is that Rebel Roundup, you're going to get CT3, right? So that's going to bring you up on that CT3 there. Two, you're going to have the Smuggler's Run event, and the Smuggler's Run 2 event is just an insanely high ROI event. As a newer account, your modding is going to be super important, and having those mod materials is going to be super important, and you're going to be running out of those things constantly. So having a monthly, I don't even know if it's monthly, I feel like every other day it's coming back. But having this constant event that's always popping up, dropping you with mod materials to get to 6 mods and 6A mods, is going to just serve you so insanely well. He's also great in Conquest. I use him a lot in Conquest as well, especially for the no Ufu feats and those Sith and Jedi feats. And you're going to see a pretty good return in GAC, right? Like right now there's some datacrons that tell you, hey, don't put him on defense because he's going to get eaten up. But those things shift and those things go in waves, and sometimes he's amazing and sometimes he's not. But he's just super important. And as Bones is pointing out in the chat, he does link to a lot of things. There's just like this weird, it's not even a trifecta, it's like this square of Jedi Master Luke, Profundity, GL Leia, and Jabba that kind of all work in a really nice synergy together for getting them. After Jabba, just because you're a newer account and you're still have like a pacing issue, you're probably just based off of your progress so far, which has been insane, but that's mostly due to spending that isn't going to happen later on. You're probably looking at, 6 to 9 months or so, no joke intended there. And at that point, you're going to really want to reassess, because we're going to be looking at a new fleet meta. We're going to be looking at a new GL, who might be more important than Leia is. We're going to be looking at a new raid structure, and you might want to consider after Jabba going for that. I even think, though, that Profundity is going to be more important to you than Leia is going to be important to you. Just because not necessarily, you're at the top of your fleet right now, and you probably will remain there for a relatively long time, and I don't think you're ever going to like pop out of fleet. Oh, I knew that joke was coming up. I don't think you're going to ever drop out of fleet, and you might want to consider starting like a full-on Discord for your fleet, just so that you have some of that dominance that'll remain consistent and knowing when you have to go for things. But as you start to rise really quickly, you're going to find that you need more fleets for GAC. And having a 5-star Profundity that you don't necessarily need to 7-star immediately, right? That you can kind of just monthly grab the free shards will significantly help you. And if you do need to star it up because your fleet is surpassing you, you'll always have that option. I am a big proponent of, I do always get the new fleet pretty close to when it comes out. I very rarely 7-star it right away. I usually will talk to my fleet shard and I'll say, hey, where's everybody out? How many people are unlocking? And I kind of use that as a gauge. And typically I take 4 to 5 months to 7-star it, which ends up meaning I save 5,000 to 6,000 crystals, but I don't lose any fleet crystals. So that's just something that you might want to really strongly consider. And with that, the Wampa Omicron is going to be really great for you in GAC. It's starting to lose some prominence in Kyber just because there's a lot of new counters or like characters going into old teams that might stop it. But you're not at that part of the game yet where that's going to necessarily be a problem. And Wampa is, going to serve you really well. A lot of the smaller farms that we're talking about are the ones that you're already talking about doing, especially for that CLS team. The one that I did not check on, though, that you might want to really kind of strongly consider if you haven't, is I would, especially with Jedi Master Luke, I'd consider a smaller detour to go towards Revan. He works really nicely in a Jedi Master Luke squad. Back when Jedi Master Luke first came out, people were actually using him as the leader and Jedi Master Luke as as an extra, and that might still be an option at your level. At the higher level, it's not really necessary anymore. There's just so many other better options. But where you are, it might still be something worth considering. Good morning, Ziggy. Ziggy Stardust. I'll get Sigging, and then I'll get sued. I can't do that. I can't get sued. So there I go, entertaining myself. So with all of that said, you know, when I do send this to you, and I think you are kind of on the right path here, if you have any questions about any of this stuff and kind of where to go, you know, I'll happily answer for them for you. But I do think that Jabba makes a much, much, much bigger deal for a roster than Gialia is, and she's going to be more of like a short-sighted thing, and almost like a trap that you might be falling into, and I don't want you to fall into that trap. All right, so that said, we're going to move on to the next one. Let me just timestamp this if my pen would work. You don't get Ziggy Stardust. I feel old, man. Oh my god. I feel old. I'm only 36 and I feel old. Let's see. Komodo. Oh, maybe it's here. No, that's not there. Of course. I love when Discord starts deciding that I have to re-sign in the middle of things, which is just a pain. And now I have to find this guy who, you know what, maybe it's on Reddit. Let's check Reddit and let's see. Every once in a while somebody messages me on Reddit about a roster to review. I feel like Ziggy Stardust transcends American, but I can understand the age thing. No. I don't see this guy here. So while I'm looking for his PMs, Super Bowl Sunday, are we Team Taylor Swift? Team 49ers? What's the deal? What are we doing here? Oh, I think I found it. We have to remember, Bones, not everybody's our age or older anymore. That's the problem. All right, let's see. I found it. Damn right, man. Bones, what's your favorite T-Swift song? I wish we talked about this last night. We're going to do a part 2. Tails, you'll be my first part 2. Or, you know what, we'll commandeer 3 Scoundrels one day, and it'll just be a T-Swift talk. We'll piss off Logan or something. So I found this other review. It was just my phone auto-correcting things, which was stupid and a pain in my ass. Let's just see what we got here. This is actually somebody who messaged me, and I remember talking with them yesterday, and they were like, oh, you know what, now that I type it out, oh, right, I forgot you're a Chiefs fan outside of Taylor Swift, too. But after I typed it out, or he typed it out, he was like, you know what, maybe I'm going a little bit too broad here. And that sometimes happens, is just typing out what you're doing. All right, so let's see. Top 10 are all executors with 1 finalizer. Top 20 are a mixed bag of Nego, Mal, and Endurance, and my Chimera mess. Extra notes for Fleet, though, is that I don't use finalizer because I get dropped a lot, okay? CT1, 5 of 7, CT2, 2 of 7, CT3, 0 of 7. The 2 battles I haven't got CT1 on are the Jedi Ewok one and the Inquis Tusken one. Jedi one I think will be sorted as I'm gearing up Keller and Beck's team, but I would like to know your thoughts regarding how or if I should slot in Inquisitors or Tuskens somewhere. I have bought the Hyperdrive bundle when I made the account and all the Lightspeed bundles so far. I was originally going for Profundity, hence my high gear Rogue One, but Lightspeed bundles have sent it off kilter. I'm currently building towards Bo-Katan while I whilst I wait for Finalizer and Radis event to get those ships to 5-star with the requirements. I've also got Zori to R3 to get the team functional, and Essaclair wise, I only need Relic, Mast, Kylo, and Palps, and I'm also done with them. Going ahead, I plan to build Bad Batch, Treya to JMK, and use a Marauder Negotiator fleet to beat the Executors and whatnot that run my shard. Only now do I realize how disorganized this plan looks. This one sounds like it's going to be fun, guys. Alright, let's catch up on chat, and then I'm going to hurt myself while I pop my mimosa a little bit. Alright, so let's see what we got here. We got what sounds like a mess of an account, but a lot of times these mess of an accounts are not as messy as people make them seem. 4 million account, and we're already doing this stuff, is not too bad. We're running Finn, interesting. Current highest rank, 9, 10. We're mostly Executors. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Let's see. We have mixed bag and nego. So it is a newer shard too, which is, which is important. I use Tuskens too now. I haven't fully geared them yet because I've been building towards Bo-Katan, but and kind of saving for Bane. But I do like them, and I have them mostly relic at this point. What I'm gonna say here is, based on what this guy is telling me, I say this, I feel like in almost every single review that I do, I really, really strongly urge you to reach out to your shard and try to get in on it. I know that they have Executors and you have Finalizer and your Thrawn fleet, but it sounds like with Finalizer you're at the very least able to break and breach that top 20, top 10. And working with your shard is it's just gonna infinitely decrease your frustration, but increase your crystal income and the ease. And it's also gonna possibly find that you're dropping less. But the other thing you might want to kind of consider here is, if you're dropping to like 35 or so and you're not necessarily getting into the top 10 right now, maybe using 4 of those battles to increase where you are in the rankings, and then one of those battles to put Thrawn back on defense. I do really think that going for a GL ship is super important, kind of more on the short term, but I don't know where we are with that just yet. But I do think that looking at your fleet shard is going to help you, and talking to your fleet shard, is going to help you. And those are things that you kind of want to do super, super short term. Let's see what we got going here. Kylo, I know we're working towards. Rey, we're working towards, or getting, maybe since I've messaged you originally. I know today was Radis. Let's see. Sith, Jedi Master Kenobi, Lord Vader, Starkiller. Bones, we don't agree here, man. You got to talk to your shard. If you have a mafia, that sucks. I know that there are a couple mafias, and that sucks. And I feel for everybody that has a shard that's not inclusive, that it really does fucking blow when that happens. But in having talked to hundreds and hundreds of people, that is rarely the case, at least in my experience, dealing with these things. Okay, so do we have Rey yet, or are we just ticket farming her? It seems like we're ticket farming her, or we're just we have all the relics and we're just finishing Radis. Let's see our Jedi. And what did we say? We said CT1. Okay, CT1. Kelleran Beck, I have no idea if he's going to help you with CT1 because he's so new. He's literally just farmable. I just don't know if it's going to be possible with him. I know even with like Jedi Master Kenobi, it's not I don't. It might be possible, but it's really tough to do. And Jedi Master Luke is kind of where you want to go in order to get that. Actually, I don't want to look at Jedi. I want to look at Old Republic. He might be able to get you to CT1, and CT1 really is the most important of them. I do feel like with where you are right now, Revan would significantly help you. It might not get you CT1, but I mean, with what you got, I think it's possible, even with just Revan. It's not going to get you CT3 by itself, but I think going for Bo-Katan Mandalore is a huge mistake, and it's a trap that you're falling for. I'm going for her. I've got an 11.3 million account, and she's kind of new. She's a luxury, and there's nothing that I'm coming up against where I feel limited by not having her. Her Datacron is super nice, but that's gone in 3 months. I do agree with some of my more conspiracy-minded friends that she probably will be required for something in the near future, but I don't necessarily think that thing that she might be required for is going to be worth it at... I don't think it's going to be worth it at your level to be doing that, and I think farming 3 non-accelerated characters for something that's a luxury and not really going to give you a great ROI is not a smart move for where your account is. I think based on the fact that you are doing CT1 on pretty much all of them except for the Jedi one, going for Bo honestly is super wild. I strongly, oh look, my YouTube comments are popping up now, that's awesome. I strongly recommend against that. As far as core teams go, just to answer OoopsAnotherbug, I think that ROI on your assault battles is super important early, but you can usually accomplish that without having to go outside of the GL farms, which kind of serve you a better purpose most of the time. I am a super big proponent of Night Sisters. I just don't think it's a great early investment for most people. Captain Amazing, good morning. I apologize for dropping in on you yesterday, and I think you were laughing at my comments, but I was in bed and my wife was asleep next to me, so I had you muted, but I was watching for a good little while. So I don't know what you were saying. I really need to invest in like AirPods or something that I can have with me and quickly put on, so that she doesn't get grumpy and wake up. I think that for you personally, again, and I've been finding that I've been saying this a lot more often, I think Jedi Master Luke is going to be a really solid deal for you. We're looking at about a 4 million account. We have Wampa and the Omicron already. We don't have Hermit yet, but that's not too big of a deal at this point. Jedi Master Luke's going to do a couple things, and I feel like you could just go to the last roster review that I had. I need a coffee too, but I'll take a break and after I get through the roster reviews before I do my TV stuff. Jedi Master Luke's going to do a couple things for you. He's amazing in Conquest, okay? Just amazing, and you're about 4 million. So you're kind of thinking about doing that. He's going to help you cheese a lot of the feats in the game. He's going to give you CT3. Well, Jedi Knight Luke mostly, but he's going to give you CT3 and that Jedi one that you're not already doing. And he's also going to give you CT3 and Military Might. And I said this earlier, but I was talking to one of the guys that I work with on Discord, and he was telling me that even with a G12 Mon Mothma with 0 mods, he was able to get that CT3 yesterday on auto, which was crazy to me. So it's going to give you the CT3 on 2 of the assault battles. It's going to give you a really good viable conquest tune. He's going to give you something that's great at your level for GAC and TW. Maybe not the most amazing thing for somebody at my level, but he's still great. And it's going to work you into profundity. And I think that you kind of made a mistake by shifting away from profundity. A GL level fleet is super important. And looking at your 2 farms, Executor versus Profundity, and the fact that you've kind of pushed your AdRad team a little bit higher already, even though you're relic level wise a little further from Profundity, we're looking at a fleet meta shift in about 5 to 6 months. Okay, and Executor at that point is going to be 3 years out, and it's already struggling a little bit with Leviathan. So I think it's a good idea to try and future-proof yourself a little bit and go for that Profundity fleet. It's going to help you against all of the Executors in your shard. And I gotta tell you, man, like, those 400 fleet crystals a day are a huge deal. I was doing a test stream earlier, and somebody popped in on the test stream, and I kind of quickly looked at his account. I don't know if he's here right now or not. I told him to stop by, and he's got an 8 million account and no GL ships, and that is just wild to me, being at 8 million and not having a single GL ship. And it's just wild to me how many crystals he's lost out on. But I will say, it's more of a casual account, and he's got mostly R9 Ewoks, and he's playing for fun. So that was kind of fun to look at and see that, and I think he's 1 or 2 Ewoks away from being R9. So he's playing more of a silly and enjoyable account, but having that fleet would significantly increase his ability to do those things. I keep saying Bones, but he's under the 3 Scoundrels tag right now. So for those people who are kind of confused, I mostly agree with Bones on this, that you don't want to stop a farm, but every once in a while it is important to reassess, because you stopped Profundity to go after Bo, but we're kind of realizing that Bo is not necessarily the smartest choice and isn't going to really serve your account at all. Jedi Master Luke into Profundity, or Profundity into Jedi Master Luke, whichever way you go, Profundity first might serve your account more. You will find that when you're getting those fleet crystals, that it is going to exponentially jump how much faster you're able to move through your account, and how much that you're able to do with your account in the short term. And I would say that I credit Fleet with me taking this game more seriously, right? Like, I was more of a casual player for 2 years, and when I started to get closer in fleets and started to join my fleet chart and my fleet chat, and I started hitting 1 every day with Negotiator way back in the day, and I saw those crystals piling in, I was like, man, I'm upgrading things so much faster, so much stronger. And it just helped me so much, and made me find like a renewed love against that game, against the game. Solo, I will slap down CG any chance I get, unless Meathead is here, in which I can say, I love you, Meathead, and I know we butt heads, but you and me, Meathead, X, Egnards, I'll give you title, I don't care. I think that when you get those 2 things, you're going to see a significant improvement in your account, to the point where you're going to want to reassess everything that you're doing, and you're going to completely change your plan, right? And that's going to take you like 5 to 6 months, I think. And at that point, I definitely would reassess. But in the short term, I would say that after Jedi Master Luke, Jabba is a really solid ROI character. As for when to fit Inquisitors and Tuscans into this, I agree with some of the guys in chat that Tuscans are a sleeper team. I don't think they can CT3 this. Inquisitors can once you get Riva and Third Sister. And your guild is going to eventually want you to get Inquisitors. So they're the smarter choice in terms of what's going to benefit your account, just because they're going to want you to get them for Grand Inquisitor, which is going to help you get the shards for Third Sister. I don't think it's a necessary short-term project. I say to people, getting 5 out of 7 of the assault battles is a really good, solid start. But the ROI on this particular one is not necessarily the best until you start actually using the team. But you can get CT1 without any relics on the Inquisitors. It's just a super high Chirotech investment. So I don't necessarily recommend it to people until your guild starts saying, hey, we're going to start pushing for this. Hey, we're going to start pushing for this. Hey, we're going to start pushing for this. So basically what I'm saying is I think you need a full refocus. And in a couple of months, if you do it my way, you're going to look back and you're going to thank yourself and say, hey, man, like, this is much better. And hopefully it works out for you. Bones, speaking of which, I don't know if Cap is still here, but and I know he's in Japan, man, but he might be fun to have on the Three Scoundrels too. So I don't know if that'll work for his timing versus your timing for filming that stuff. But you might want to touch base with him. I know we were chatting about this yesterday with like smaller guys and up and comers, but maybe reach out to him if you haven't already. But with that said, I have one more roster review I have to do this morning. So I'm going to pop that one up in just a second. It's my way. And then I'm going to take a quick break to refill my mimosa, which will be done by the end of it, and to just start some coffee, because I agree with Solo and I need some coffee. So let's do this one more first, and we'll reconvene after that. We'll take like a short intermission. So let's see, what do we got? 57 minutes. This guy reached out to me yesterday night, so it should be a pretty recent one. All right. So your Reddit post for roster reviews. I was wondering if I could get you to take a look at mine. Top 20 fleet, top 10 is Leviathan, with 11 of 20 being a mix of Leviathan Profundity, 1 or 2 Executors. No, I promise, Chris, we're going to do one more. It'll take about 20 minutes, and then we'll take literally like a 5-minute break. Just for me, I got an espresso. I'm going to pop a pod in. I'm going to refill my drink, maybe go to the bathroom, and then I'll be right back. Let's see. AB, CT1, 7 of 7. Okay, so we're looking at a higher end account. CT1, 7 of 7. CT2, 6 of 7. CT3, 5 of 7. Currently farming Leia to help with the raid and with TB. I'm really just trying to get my roster to be more efficient. Auto RTE paddles. Oh, man. I saw somewhere that with evidence of a donation to charity, you'd conduct a review. Yeah, all right. Well, that charity thing is old. That had to do with a big GoFundMe for AP Games and some family issues he was having. But I think that raised a ton of money, which is super awesome. But that is the end of the actual thing here. Let's pull this one up. Iridium 2, 9.8 million account. Okay, let's see what we got here. I heard cheers, that's all I need. We have Executor. We're kind of pushing the 20. I will say again, I say this all the time, please reach out to your fleet shard. If you haven't already, please talk to them. I promise you there's a fleet shard available. I promise you it'll make your life so much easier if you do that. Even with what you have right now, you'll be able to hit that top 10. I'm not an expert on it. I believe Solo Straight, who's in the chat as well, he's done a few guide breakdowns on the Leviathan versus Executor battle. to be able to find, you know, the things that you need a little bit easier, maybe not have to go for another GL fleet right away. But please, please, please reach out to them. Let's just take a look at this real quick. No breaks. Need my coffee, man. What do we got? Jedi Master Luke, Kenobi, Jabba the Hutt. Okay, so yeah, we're higher. We have third Inquisitor. We have him. What are we doing? 5 of 7 at CT3. CT2, 6 of 7. I say this every time, but I really need to ask people which assault battles they're not doing at CT3, because this looks like a prime candidate for an account that should be able to do all of them. Maybe Night Sisters, maybe that's the one. A lot of people don't like Night Sisters. No, even these Night Sisters should be able to do like CT2. Jedi, we have Jedi Master Luke. What I'm going to say, because I'm not going to speculate on this one, but after I send this to you, just tell me what your assault battle breakdown is, and I'm going to help you out with that. There definitely is some help you need with the Night Sisters. This is the point of the game where you might consider going after them. I love them. You're talking about auto ROTE. I'm not going to go through every one of your teams to tell you these things, but I have a whole section of my YouTube channel where I break it down by planet with things that I've autoed battles with. You'll see later today in my stream, the only thing I'm not going to auto is the 2 fleet battles, because these are pain in the ass fleet day. But I auto everything else, and I found autos for pretty much every single node. Night Sisters auto day 1 NSDS, they auto day 2 NS, they auto day 2 DS, but a little bit more iffy. I've actually been using them day 2 in the Hondo battle, which is super easy to do. I don't have young Lando up yet. I've asked the guildmate to try that for me next month. They auto the SM in Dathomir if you mod them right. They auto Tatooine super easily. They auto End Underman day 4's NS. And with full platoons, they auto day 4 the Rebel battles in the DS. So if you're looking for auto battles, these are a solid faction. The CLS squad is really good at the NS battles for autos. You know, you have that squad up. I find they're not super great at the LS battles. Who else do I use a lot of? I use a lot of... Rey is really good at the NS battles. She's not so great at the LS ones, right? So down the middle. You have Inquisitors with Third Sister. They destroy those DS battles. And I have heard, I think Solo, you had mentioned it in one of my videos, maybe last week's stream, that you have a guildmate that has them at R8, and they do the day 4 on auto, or at least they beat it. You know, it's not so much a matter that you don't have the tools to do it yet. It's more a matter that maybe you're scared to try them, or you haven't seen the guides yet on doing them. So I would definitely recommend checking out that portion, you know, of what I've got going on. Let's see. Lord Vader is really good for this as well. Let's see how far out you are from these GLs and what you got going on. We got Lord Vader. Okay, we're not that bad on Lord Vader, and I think you said you're working on Leia, right? Those are the 2. Okay. Profundity and Leviathan. Let's just check this out. I agree with going for Leia. You're not going to see a great ROI on her, because by the time you get her, you know, we're already past the point when it comes to seeing an ROI on the raid. or an increased ROI on the raid, but it is going to help your guild, and you're going to see her useful in all of the game modes anyway, so it's not going to necessarily matter. So I do agree with finishing that. I do want to check, we have Malgus, we have the Fury class. Let's change this. We do have Fury class, okay. Okay, good. Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you. Continue going for Leia. Really start focusing on Leviathan. You have Executor, that's great. It's going to help you. We're going to be seeing a fleet meta shift right in the next 5 to 6 months. And you want to be prepared for that. Leviathan is going to completely change the game for you. I agree with Bones here, man. Like, ships, you need to be focusing those ships, and you're just so close to Leviathan that it's not even like a thing. Just frickin' do it. The good news is, I mean, I would say talk to your fleet shard first, because you might not need to 7-star Leviathan right away. You might, based on where your fleet is right now, but you'll know more when you talk to your fleet shard. But the sooner you get that, the better. I really think Executor is going to struggle going into the next meta because he's 3 years out. And there really is no guarantee that Profundity is going to do any better being 2 years out. I think Leviathan is still going to be relevant going into the meta. I don't necessarily think that's a guarantee, but I do think that there's a very, very strong possibility of that based on our last 2 years and based on how GLs have always worked in the past. Right, so I think that that going for Leviathan super short term is going to be important for your account. I do think Night Sisters are going to be a great addition, specifically because of what you're looking for, which is our auto ROTE battles. I've been a huge proponent of them. I've posted Reddit posts. I have literally videos broken down, like I said, by planet, and they're in every single planet that they're available to go in. It's worth checking out for you. You're going to find out that you have a lot more of the tools available to you than you realize. And I think you're going to find out that actually, even in fleets in ROTE, that a lot of them are super easy. I've done some of them with Home 1 on auto. I've done some of them with Negotiator on auto. I haven't tried them with Radis on auto. I'm kind of waiting because I got screwed with comeuppance and I'm still 20 shards away. You'll be surprised with the tools you have available, right? So go Leia, go Leviathan. That's what you need right now, and I actually think Leviathan is slightly more important than Leia is for you. Let's just see. Now, at that point, you know, we're going to be getting a road ahead super shortly, depending on the timeline. I know the first draft went out. I agree, man. Resistance sucks, but I'm not one of those people that's not going to farm things because of my personal opinions. I'm going to just get everything. We're going to be getting a road ahead short term, so this next piece of advice might change based on that road ahead. What I've said so far I don't think changes at all. But this next piece could change depending on a GL announcement or a fleet announcement. You're actually not terribly far from Lord Vader. I know a lot of people skip Lord Vader, and I do so many of these roster reviews and I see them still at like 2,000 Carbonite circuit boards needed, and I kind of just use that as a gauge to see where they're at. You're halfway there. I don't want to say you've done the hardest part because I haven't looked at your bad batch yet, but you're still halfway there. I find Lord Vader to be amazing in Rise of the Empire. I find Lord Vader to be my second most utilized conquest unit, using Amplify Agonies and using Voluntary Vanguard. I use him to cheese DS kills literally all the time. Don't listen to Bones. I listen to Bones on a lot of things, but don't listen to him on the Bad Batch. Bad Batch is great. I still use them. He's just salty about Bad Batch. He hates them. I don't get it. I listened to your whole rant on Three Scoundrels. I laughed my ass off the whole time. I know you're a conspiracy nut. I know it. That's why I love you. But go for Bad Batch. Freaking do it. I literally just listened to this yesterday, you going on and on. But again, this is kind of based on the road ahead, but it's not going to matter because Leia and Leviathan are more important. So you'll have the information from the road ahead before you have to consider it. Yeah, Captain Junior Bones, I love him for a lot of things. He's a funny guy, and he's a very smart guy too, even though he doesn't take anything seriously. This is just his one sticking point. God. This is his one sticking point. It's kind of like me and Jedi Master Luke at R9. I told that to Captain Amazing too. I said, hey, tell me anything to Relic, and I'll do it right this second, except for Jedi Master Luke at R9. I just refuse to do it. So I understand it, but it is, it is what it is. So at this point, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take literally 3 minutes, if that, okay? So maybe even less than that, just to refresh my drink and just to throw on a Nespresso pod, okay? So I'll be back in just a couple of minutes, and hopefully my cats don't come in here because they're assholes and they'll jump all over my desk. So again, 3 minutes. Go refill your drinks. Right. Whew. Okay, see, that was quick, guys, right? That was quick. 113. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this up. Now, I spent all morning, I've been here since like 5:45, trying to set like scenes up in this streaming software. So I'm hoping that this works. So bear with me for a second. I'm still learning all of this craziness, right? We're going to pop this over and look at that. Perfect, right? My game is up. Everybody can see it. That's wonderful. I want to get through my TV first. Again, I do almost all of it on auto. The only things that I don't auto are the 2 fleet battles on this day, so I like to get them done first. just to get them out of the way. One of my guys, oh, I need that. One of my guys fucked up, and he deployed somewhere, and we lost a platoon in Ring of Kafrene, so I don't think we need me to win. I think we're still pretty good, but we're a little bit more thin than we normally would be. I hate this battle just so much. It's so crazy. I've got friends that went a different path, and they're doing day 6 of Hoth, of night whatever neutral, and they're telling me that the neutral day 6 is like the easiest fleet mission in the entire TB, which is just so crazy to me. He said that he doesn't like autoing, but he's autoed pretty much every single fleet on that mission in the last couple of months, which kind of pisses me off, because this one is just so hard and is so annoying to do, even on manual. And I have to sit here pressing buttons and not paying attention. Yeah, I like the background on this one. I normally don't pay attention to them at all, but I mean, this one is kind of cool compared to some of the other ones in the game. Let's see. We're gonna pop this in. Oh, maybe I can just get to ult really quick and hope for the best. It's just one of those battles that sometimes it's great and sometimes it just sucks all the life out of you. I've tried it with Marauder as well at 7 stars, obviously 7 stars, and it just doesn't seem to work. You pretty much need profundity for it, which is annoying in its own right. I kind of want to hit auto at this point, but knowing that we are missing that one platoon, I am a little nervous to do so, even though it looks like a pretty clear and easy win. If anyone's wondering about my strategy here, I don't really have one. My one point of strategy is to get those stacks of whatever that thing is called, the platoons or formation, off of everybody so that they do a lot less damage to me. Let's see. Alright, let's pop this one in. And I really... God, I hate this battle. For those of you that have done this battle, I found it's easier with Executor than with Profundity, which is crazy considering it needs Ghost. But the whole strategy basically relies around just auto-basicking for 5 minutes, and it just takes forever to do. And sometimes you still lose. But this one, I mean, it's not as important as the other one. So let's see. Oh, shit. I used the wrong move. So now I'm probably fucked. Oh, well. Oh, God. So I've tried... I mean, my whole thing is doing this on auto. I haven't tried... Morning, Decepticons. I haven't tried Leviathan on manual. Have you, like... Yeah, what I normally do here is I eat more of this freaking espresso. What I normally do here is I auto-basic with Houndstooth, and then I use the heal special. And that heal special will keep that permanent taunt. which is really what you need. But I obviously screwed that up, and my normal strategy does not exist right now. Oof. So let's just... I know I need to get Slave 1 down, because that's really the one downfall and the one problem thing here, is the Slave 1 being able to use that stupid frickin' move. But I can do it too. Again, not really necessarily terribly worried if I lose the CM. It's not the biggest deal in the world. There we go. It's always Bones. It's always Bones. Bones the only one that talks. Bones the only one that hangs out. Avant's too busy in spreadsheets. Logan's too busy making his whale money, going to Matt Rife shows. Alright, this actually looks like a pretty clear win, which is nice. And I might actually have a couple characters left over to make it a little bit faster. Oof. So, Bones, you never answered me before. You answered all the other stuff, because I know you have this hardcore love for the Chiefs, but you were very excited about Taylor Swift too, and I would like to know what your favorite Taylor Swift song is. I think I said yours on your podcast last week. Yeah, I missed his too. You know what's funny, Christian? My wife got tickets to see Matt Rife too, and I've never heard him before. I don't know anything about him, but she has like major FOMO and just buys tickets randomly. And she actually ended up selling them, because I think what I've heard about his show is he's like really good at crowd work, but like he's not really funny. So like these big arena shows are not really in his wheelhouse. I don't know though, because I've never listened to him. I guess I'm just glad that I don't have to go into Manhattan to see it. Alright, so I got a nice easy win. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, okay. Wow, we did a lot of work here. So as I said before, and someone was talking about this, Night Sisters, just beautiful. They work just so beautifully here. No, as I say that, they're gonna fucking lose, whatever. I'm a Broncos fan, as you can tell. I'm constantly wearing my Broncos hoodie. I wear my Broncos hoodie a lot because a lot of my shirts are branded to my company, to my business, and I just worried about like Reddit trolls seeing that and then finding my business and one-starring it over and over again. So I'm always wearing this hoodie or something over. Captain, I agree with you normally with shows. I don't know if we talked about this on your Tales episode, but like we do go into the city often. We go see a lot of Broadway shows. I think I put all of my playbills. Actually, we just saw this one, Merrily We Go Along, pretty recently. All my other playbills are somewhere else. We probably go like 4 or 5 times, maybe even more a year. I do like going into Manhattan. I don't like going into Manhattan for shows that I don't care about. we actually are considering, for anyone who's here right now who is maybe in the New Jersey, New York, Connecticut area, next weekend, no, maybe it's not next weekend. I think it's the 23rd. It's definitely a Saturday, but maybe it's 2 weekends from now. My wife is doing a meetup with her Quinn friends, which is basically audio porn. And I thought it would be fun to go to my favorite bar in Manhattan. And I kind of put it out to the Reddit community that I'll be there. And I'm hoping some people show up. I think it'll be fun. It's called Beer Culture. It's right across from Moulin Rouge. I'll probably be there all afternoon just hanging out with the bartender. So if anyone's in the area, or if you want more information on that, I'm Egnards on Discord, lowercase Egnards, obviously same as this. Bones, I know, that's why I had mentioned Matt Rife, because I had heard him say that his wife made him go to the show. Yeah, we're doing that. We might do it in Manhattan. We might do it in Jersey. A bunch of Jersey people mentioned not wanting to go into the city, and I've really only heard from Jersey people. So I might reach out to them to change the venue, which is why I say if anyone's interested, reach out to me. And, just so that we all have the same details. But, Captain, if you ever decide to fly back, I know that flight, it's the same. My brother's in Korea. On the way back from Japan, it's probably like 13 hours. On the way there, it's like 15, maybe 14, because it's a little closer. I've got a guest room. You could drop by and hang out for a day. And then come to the meetup. Oof. I promised that before asking my wife about strangers on the internet coming to stay with us, but well, I'll make it work. Bones, man, it's not a long flight from where you are. It's only a couple hours. My brother actually, the rich one in the family, well, not rich, but he's much more well off than I am. He has a house on an island. I don't know if Bayou, because it's big, but it's a Little Gasparilla Island. I haven't been in like a decade or so, but I used to go out there every once in a while with him, and he's been telling me I should come out there at some point in the future, and I'm like, I don't have money for flights, but okay. So maybe one day. PA's not that far. It's not that bad. Let's see, what are we gonna do? No, he doesn't have a fucking island. There's an island. Oh my god, I'll tell you the story in a second once I set up these teams. So I'm gonna try some things here that I don't normally do, just because I want to try Vader in Darkside. So we're just gonna see if this works. I honestly have no idea if it will. Let's throw you in there just to have an extra tank. So there's this island in Florida. It's called Little Gasparilla Island, and there's a rich people side and a poor people side of the island. And when I say poor people, we're obviously talking about middle class. And he has a house on the poor people side, and it's called the poor people side, or we call it the poor people side because there's no cars, there's no roads. It's just the houses, and like 2 or 3 people have like golf carts. So you take a water taxi to get there, and then you walk to the house, and there's no stores, there's no businesses. And in the center of the island, there's a state park. And on the other side of the state park, there's a big resort. And there's roads, and there's cars, and there's fancier houses. So we call that the rich people side of the island. So it's kind of like the Outer Banks, if you've seen that, right? Like you have the rich and the poor. And I've gone out to the rich people side a few times and gotten drunk and lost there at the resorts. I almost got killed by an 80-year-old guy who, while drunk, he convinced me to go into the woods with him to show me his secret spot. I was not making good decisions that day because I had a couple rum punches. He just wanted to show me where he wanted to grow weed with his friends. So thankfully I made it out of that alive. Yeah, it's pretty much like that. I haven't been in a long time, but it's a fun time. So it looks like Leia's working here pretty decently. It's always hard to find something that works here just because of the confusion modifier. I gotta make it down there. Well, it is, yeah, it was a little sus. It was me and my brother, my younger brother, and we kind of looked at each other, and and we knew it was a bad idea, but we were so drunk that we were like, yeah, sure, we don't want to offend you. It was an interesting day. We had to walk, I think, from my brother's house to the resort was like 5 miles. So we had to walk there, and on the way back, this old guy had offered us a ride on his golf cart, and we of course said yes because, well, we didn't want to walk. All right, we're gonna try. I don't think this is going to work at all. I'm just gonna do it because I want to save my dark side guys to try some of the dark side battles. In day 4, Chris, yeah, day 4 is weird, man. Like it's, you can actually, like I said, you can underman with Night Sisters. You take Asajj Ventress out of this, and this is the one planet where it's coded where you can go in with 4, and it'll still win, which is insane to me. I've tried it. I've had guild members try it. I do it on day 5 because I give up my Asajj for platoons. You could also just throw in a random 5th, but I mean, if you don't need to, you don't need to. It's kind of why I love the Night Sisters so much. They're just so amazing at this point of the game, especially since Marin, my love and savior, came out. It's just one of those things. Alright, well, I might at least get a wave here, which is kind of nice. I was thinking about, I feel like I could do this if I brought Jedi Knight Cal Kestis to R8, or maybe even Jolie to R8 for the revive. But the points just aren't worth it for me right now, and I need to save my relic material for Bane. So I'm not gonna do that, but I think it would work, and I think it would work, you know, pretty well. I don't know what any of that means. Roster. Oh, I forgot to mention that before. So here's how my roster reviews work for anyone who is interested. Hit me up on Discord. My name is Egnards. It's cap sensitive, so there's no capitals. I'll send you my roster review thread on Reddit. I know Captain Amazing has been telling me I need my own Discord server, but I've been slacking on doing that because I'm old and don't understand things. I'll send you what I need from you, and basically I do it for tips. You know, some people, they send me money ahead of time, and then it just makes me feel more pressured, and I kind of laugh at them and tell them that it makes my job harder. Some people tip me, some people don't. I don't care. I'm just trying to help the community, and you know, the beer money is it's nice when it comes in, but I'm not I'm not like overly up on it. Just understand that I do things in order that they come in. So basically, you know, sometimes my line is huge, sometimes my line is not huge. As of right now, I don't know what my Discord looks like because I haven't looked at it. But I've gotten through my entire backlog of reviews that I've had to do over the last week. You know, I've been tipped as little as $5, which is, I suggest to people, if you're happy with it, $5 to $10. I've had people tip me as much as 50, which to me is insane, and I tell them they're insane, but I appreciate it. But the goal is not to put people out, right? I don't want to put people out. I don't want people to feel limited. What I want to do is kind of empower people to kind of help them play the game, because I do love the game as much as people think that I don't. Yeah, you know, we're having people over for the Super Bowl today, so it's like, oh, I'm going out and buying all this stuff, and it's always appreciated, but it's not. I know that people. I've had people tell me, man, like, I wish I could get a roster review, but I'm a broke college student, and I'm like, hey, just send me your GG. I don't care. Like, I want to help people. I'm a special ed teacher during the day. I work as a one-to-one. I own a karate school, and I don't make a lot of money from it because I charge prices where even, you know, people who really can't afford it are able to afford it. So it's not necessarily about the money for me. I do really like helping people as much as I can. So if if you're looking for a review on stuff, just hit me up, and after the stream, I'll send you my review thread. You know, my wife and I are going to a movie, so I might not answer constantly, but I'll put you on the list. So if you're looking for that, just hit me up there. Oof. C does really well here. It's just slow. See, hold that thought for a second, but one, my thought on C is I'm hoping Bane really speeds this shit up, and I'm bringing him right to at least R7, R8 if I have the materials, and it'd be great if he speeds all this up. As for your uncle, Captain, there's like so many parallels. There's a few people, Solo, who is either here, I'm not sure if he's not. We've laughed a lot because there's a lot of similarities between us and our lives and the things we like, and kind of the same thing here, right? Like, you live in Japan, my brother lives in Korea, you guys both married someone that's local to there. You're from the area that I'm from, and you worked in the same county that I grew up in, which is crazy. Your uncle-in-law is an instructor, a sensei, depending on his title. Titles vary, sensei, shihan, kyoshi. That's what I do for a living. It's just funny when you meet people online and their lives are kind of like a parallel of your own. It's kind of cool. Oh, thank God, we're almost over. What I'm really hoping is that my other TB officer, while I'm doing this, is controlling what's coming in and what's going out, because I'm not paying attention to it right now. There we go. All right, so what do we got? 498. So we're about to do this. I don't have enough units for that. We're pretty close to this. So we're going to hit those 37, I think, pretty easily. Okay. I got to get my friggin' raid done. Yeah, depending, there's a lot of... The martial arts is very weird. Sensei is just a teacher title, and then you can go above that, and there's different things. Whether or not I keep the title later on, I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, let's see. So, for those of you that have joined us and who are here, and we're getting the raids done and everything. The one important thing to note is I do none of these raids on manual. We'll see what happens. We'll know. I just kind of throw characters in. We see what happens, and I'm happy with it no matter what. My guild actually already hit the box that we care about, because I think maybe 3 people in my guild actually manual it. It's not a priority for us at all. We have guys in the guild who honestly they'd rather just spend the money on the materials themselves than even get rewards. That's how much priority we put to it. Master could be Shihan or Sensei. It could be either. It depends. We do the 208 box, which I think we could probably do the 4 something box without any upgrades. But nobody wants to manual it. We put a vote out. We talked to the officers. Literally nobody wants to play this raid on manual. So we all just auto it, and we're all happy to do it. And it would be nice to get the MK3 additional from the 400 box, but honestly, I don't feel limited by it at all. I feel like I'm upgrading characters much quicker than I've ever upgraded characters in the past. So I'm not bothered. Yeah, and we're at a point, I think, someone who's much smarter than I am did the math and basically said that February is kind of the cutoff point of reaching the box that your guild should reach and be happy with. So we're just going to stay here and be happy with it. I actually, it depends. With Crate, we were doing the 128 box, or whatever that box was, because again, the same thing, nobody wanted to do more than one run. I would do my one Java run on manual, get my max score, and I wouldn't even do the other 4 runs. And really without any investment at all, we were able to do this box, which is an upgrade. So I'm not worried about the next raid. I think maybe I'll take it more seriously now that I feel caught up. It depends. There are some characters I might still take up to like R8 for the raid, but only because they'll be helpful for me in other areas of the game. Since Captain Amazing made me R5 my Dark Trooper, I feel like I need to invest a little bit more in my troopers. So I've been considering bringing some of them up a little bit higher than they are right now, which will help my score, but it'll also help me in other aspects of the game. But I don't think I'd bring anything up specifically for it. The extra MK3 is nice, but like when you really think, so again, someone who's smarter than me at math kind of did the numbers on it, and it basically came down to if you increase past where you are now, the materials that you're spending, you don't end up winning. You don't end up making out at all. How true that is, I don't 100% know, because I didn't do it myself, but based on the source of hearing this information, I do trust the source. Yeah, if you're happy doing it, then that's awesome. I think my guild could definitely at least do one more box without upgrading anything. We're just not happy doing it. I know some people either really love the raid or they're indifferent to the raid. And if you're indifferent to the raid and don't mind running it 8 times, then that's completely fine. For me, I just feel like with like conquest and territory battles and GAC, but then also even outside of streaming things, which is very new to me, that's the last month or two, doing all of the content I do for Reddit and the math write-ups, I just don't have the time to sit there and manual and try to get my runs in and try to make them perfect and remod and do all of these different things. So I'm happy with it as it is. I envy the extra materials you're getting 100%. I wish I was getting those materials. It would definitely be helpful, but I think it would affect my quality of life in the game, which nobody wants to do. I talked about this last week, and I said I had posted this on Reddit maybe towards the beginning of the raid. I feel like what they should do, if we were to take this raid as an example but really think to the next raid, is that what should happen is you should be able to go into a raid with one team. Okay, so let's say it's your Leia, Leia, Han, Captain Rex team, and you should be able to put in your other characters as like auxiliary teams. So you'd still have to upgrade them, but you would be able to do it all in one run, right? So I would love to be able to use all of my characters in one run and get my max score and be done with it, and I'd still need to R8 all of them. So I would get my quality of life of not having to spend so much time, and CG would get their metric of making me R8 everything. So kind of like a modifier on my score of, hey, I see you have these 3 guys, put these other 3 guys under them, they both get used. It's an idea that I think would be really helpful for people like me. And I think that they would see a lot more people investing in the raid and being willing to do one battle versus having to do what is essentially the one battle 8 times, right? Over and over and over and over and over again, which kind of sucks to do. It's not fun to do. I was listening to Celiac Sarah before I spoke to her on Tales Off the Holotable. I know she loves the raid, or I don't know if she still loves the raid, but I know she's really big into the raid. Her and Pico Burrito are really big into the raid. And listening to her, she made some really good points, and I brought it to my guild. Or I brought it to my officers, to my other officers, because I'm not a leader. And the officer consensus was kind of like nobody wanted to do it. So, so we kind of didn't even bother bringing it to the guild, but nobody in the guild is really complaining about it. And we have maybe 5 to 10 people who don't even run the raid. They're just people who spend a lot of money and they don't even care about the materials. They'd rather just spend $50, each month and get those things. Yeah, I'm an officer. I run a lot of things, in my guild. But I'm also more laid back in a lot of things, and I'm happy to get a much lower. If I were in a guild like yours, Luke, and the guild said, hey, you have to do these 8 battles and you have to do them on manual. If I had been in it a long time, I think I'd be a little annoyed, but I would do it, because that's the expectation. If my expectation is you have to do this, I'd do it. Yeah, exactly. Oops, that's exactly what it is. And I haven't spent since Marin, but I think I'd do the same thing. Morning, Wampa. Good to see you again. Who asked? Ziggy, you were asking me about GAC. You know what? It comes down to so many things in this game being important, and being at the top end of the game. You have GAC, which, if you really want to be competitive and you want to remod things and you want to research your opponents, it's going to take you multiple hours. You have the raid, which I think Pico had quoted doing his 8 runs and getting like a 19 or a 20 million score. It took him about 45 minutes to do. Conquest, 28 battles a day. That takes me over an hour to do. After Conquest, you have Territory Battles, which this is an easier day because it's day 6, so there's only so many battles that I can do at all. When you put all of that stuff in, something just has to give. And for me, it's GAC. As someone that has all of the GL, I can stay in K2 just by throwing everything on defense. Okay, so I don't, sometimes I lose 3 in a row, and that's fine. I keep enough crystals in reserve where that's not really a big deal or that's not a problem. But then I'll also win 3 in a row, right? So I won 5 in a row. My short-term GAC is I won 5 in a row, then I lost 3 in a row, and now I'm on a 2-game win streak, and based upon my opponent, it's very likely that I will win my next one, so it just really comes down to, let me just figure this out first. I'll throw you in there. It really just comes down to there's only so much time in the day. Bones, again, man, I wish, I know you had messaged me yesterday asking if I had finished my GAC yesterday, and I wish I was able to join you yesterday, and I'm hoping to do it in the future. I would definitely do it, and I streamed my GAC last week, and people were actually helping me with it. Which was fun. It was almost like a choose your own adventure where I was asking everybody what I should use, and I did have fun doing that. I completely whiffed my GAC yesterday. Like, I got 181 points. I was kind of annoyed. Being a turtle, you don't always clear a territory, but you kind of rely on your opponent to not clear a territory either. But then, like I told you yesterday, he also whiffed it, and he got 1 more point than me, and I managed to just throw shit at the wall to beat one more team, which was kind of fun. So, yeah, oops, that's kind of what it comes down to, like, in K2, I don't necessarily see the benefit in spending more time. I stay in K2 constantly. I've only left K2 once, and that was when I accidentally forgot to join GAC for a week. And I just don't, the amount of extra that I'd have to spend in materials to keep pushing ahead, I don't think I'd actually win out. I don't think it would be beneficial to me. In a crystal income ratio, and I'm telling you, this goes into my favorite topic. I can't believe we've gone 2 hours without talking about this, but 2024 is the year of Jar Jar, and I'm saving my crystals for him. I'm actually hoping he's a conquest character, which will make him really easy to get for me. If he's a marquee, I will definitely do a live stream of me wasting all of my crystals to get him and bring him to R9. My one fear is that he's going to be a journey character, because I am not going to be able to spend the money to take 5 characters to relic levels in the short term in order to get him. I'm not irresponsible like that, and I'll never have enough crystals to be able to do that. So that's my one concern. This is the year of him. Jar Jar is happening this year. I've been saying that for a long time. I know a lot of content creators are jumping on that bandwagon now. I started the Justice for Jar Jar movement over a year ago at this point. I've been talking about it for years before that point. I'm super pumped. I've talked to Meathead about it. Obviously, he's not going to confirm anything with a lowly guy like me. He's reached out to me and been a little bit trolly, and it's made me question a few things. I'm just going to throw these 2 in here then if I don't have anything there. I know it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen. I'm waiting to see it. This is the year. I'm excited for it. I reached out to who did I reach out to about it? I reached out to Calvin Awesome to hopefully have a conversation with him about it in the near future, because I know he really loves Jar Jar as well. So I'm hoping to have a conversation with him in the near future. I actually, I hate TW too, just because I feel like GAC, it's easier for me to do because of the form defense, right? GAC is, TW is really hard because there's no form defense, and ever since Datacrons came out, and ever since the increase in teams, I just feel like even setting up my TW defense has been such a pain. And I'm going to credit Bones with this because we talked about this on Three Scoundrels on his podcast, and I told him jokingly that I was going to steal his idea and put it on Reddit, and I never did. I really wish that there was a TW form defense, and I know it would be trickier because of the way that TW works, but I just wish there was a way for them to set it where my defense could be the same every month, and just make quick changes based on what the guild says and based on what they're saying and based on a change in territory. I think it would just be so much, it would be a huge quality of life thing for players to not have to do that. It's the one thing I dread so much. Oops, I'm going to tell you again, I think you were here for it. I have a whole thing on my channel where I have auto videos of so many teams in literally every planet. And I've been trying to update them with cards on how easy or hard I think that those planets are, or those battles are, because some are brain dead easy, some are like a 75% win rate. And I think it's a huge quality of life thing for people if they look at those things and see them. Yeah, I've heard that hot utils can do those things, and I just haven't looked into it yet, because I do have hot utils, and I know that they can automate platoons for me too, which I haven't looked into. It just comes down to having the hour of time to sit down and play with hot utils. I basically just use it to do TB deployment tags and to do my bronziums, and I know that that's a waste. I just, again, haven't been able to sit down with it. But I have heard about that, and I do need to look into it because it would save me so much time. So I think someone actually messaged me on, oh, look at that. I can't see their name because I'm in streamer mode. I think this can't see their name because they're in streamer mode, but I'm assuming it's somebody that's on this chat. Is that you, Bugs? It's probably you because it starts with an O, right? Because we're talking about roster reviews right now. I'm completely out of game stuff that needs to get done, and I do have some time. I don't hear any rustling going on upstairs, so we can maybe switch right back on over and I can get another review out of the way. You can just hit the one button. Yeah, I need to do it. I need to look into it because it would make my quality of life on Territory Wars just so much happier. Oops, another bug. So I am going to write this down, and I am going to take a timestamp, and we're going to switch back over and see if I can get another roster review out of the way and get it all done today. So don't need this game up. Let's see if this works. All right, what always happens when I switch these scenes is it seems that it never remembers my window capture, so just give me a second to kind of refresh this window capture, and then we will be all set. Safari, There we go. That should be good. Let's hope this works. All right. Perfect. Let's see. So, my boy, OoopsAnotherbug over here, you sent me a message. I'd love to get a roster review when you're free. Fleet Arena, I'm in Fleet Discord and regularly get one every day. Great to know. There's a few Leviathans, and it has actually made my climb easier with Chimera Scythe versus doing Executor Mirrors. The remainder, outside a few Leviathans, are a bunch of Executors and a few Profundities. Alright, so you're hitting number 1, not something we necessarily have to worry too much about. CT1, 7 of 7, CT2, 6 of 7, CT3, 6 of 7. Just off the top of my head, Bug, I'm assuming that Night Sisters or Inquisitors are... Actually, looking at this, it's probably Inquisitors that you're not doing at 6 of 7 right now, right? But I'll look, because I know that there's a time delay on this. The overall goal is fulfilling Guild Farm Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. They also want everyone farming tunes to do at least 2 special missions that provide GT currency. I figure Jedi Knight Cal Kestis requirements will... NS is missing one. Okay, cool. Thank you. Outside that, plan to R7 these guys. 3PO, Han, Iden, Reva. Unlock Reva soon, and the rest because I want to bump my raid score up a bit. They're Jabba requirements anyway. Outside Iden, Reva, and Iden is cool as fuck. After Jedi Knight Cal requirements, though not sure. Open to ideas. I bought every Lightspeed bundle, so I'm very close to a ton of stuff. I unlocked Malgus and Swallow in 4 months. I like to play pretty efficiently most of the time. Obviously with my spreadsheets, but relicking up Iden Troopers is just something fun to do. Thinking it really just depends on the road ahead. If we get a Trench Steel ship, well, he's 315 or 330. Wondering what the right balance is, though. Versus farming up core teams. I should have had months ago, like Revan versus another GL ship. So let's just take a look at this, shall we? I said this before, but I've been seeing a lot more people who are supporting .gg lately, which is super cool. Definitely support them. They're an amazing resource. I think I pulled this up in the wrong window, so give me a second to transfer this over. There we go. Okay. Kyber 3, 8 million. I know you're hitting 1, but I just kind of want to see where we're at. Okay. Doing it most days. I'm assuming those days that you're not doing it's because life gets in the way, which happens to the best of us, right? Alright, we're close to Kylo and Rey, Jedi Knight, Luke. Honestly, I should look at your collection before I even look at this. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 GLs. Okay. You are right, though. Being where you are, the road ahead can definitely change things for you. So that's going to be kind of tough to grapple with. Jabba. I wish I was hungover. No, I don't. I don't wish I was hungover. Actually, my wife's been sick, so we went to bed early last night. We're watching The King of Queens and a little bit of SpongeBob, because there's nothing like a little bit of SpongeBob to get you through the day. Alright, yeah, and I hear her waking up too, and it's about 10, so this will probably be the last thing we do for today. I know you said you're getting Malgus pretty soon. While I'm looking at this other stuff, how are you on Fury class? What are your shards like on that? I'm going to look at a few other things while I wait for the time delay. So Malgus' ship, basically. Okay. Versatan, Skiff, let's just see, Wampa, Hermit, let's see what Omicrons we have. On the Malgus ship, so Malgus' ship, which will be hitting, oh, so you have Fury, you just can't unlock it yet. Alright, that's awesome, that's good to know. That's very good to know. Sorry, I learned that sometimes I like to mumble. I bought a whole new mic setup because people were telling me we're low. I was low sometimes, and I was like, oh wait, no, that's just me mumbling to myself, which I tend to do because talking to yourself is totally sane, and I'm gonna stick to that. Okay. All right, so I know you're getting number one right now, right? You're hitting you're hitting your goals in fleet, but the reality is, I said this, you've been on this stream long enough. I don't know if you were here for the roster reviews I did an hour and a half ago, but I do think Leviathan is going to be a priority for you because you have Executor, and we are going to see that meta shift, right, happening this summer. I have no idea what it's going to be. It might be Trench. I know some people are saying maybe Red 5 and instead of a capital shift. I don't know. I think it's more likely, morning Cam, I think it's more likely Trench, but I don't like to do things based on speculation. And the other problem there is that we don't know what it's going to require, right? Leviathan requires a conquest unit, and it required 2 new marquee ships or galactic chase ships, and it required a conquest ship. So we have no idea what to expect. It might be higher requirements, or it might be like Jabba and Leia, which were lower requirements than Lord Vader. So I try to do things not based off of speculation. But what I do know is that Executor is very unlikely to still be relevant to the meta itself for Fleet Arena 3 years out. It's already struggling. I know it can do it, but it's having some tough times. So I think having another GL fleet is going to be really largely super important for you. The thing is, and I'm seeing your chat here, you don't necessarily have to rush it, right? So what you can do is the quicker you get it, if you're not needing it to push number one in fleet right now, you can slow farm it and get those shards each month for right now. And maybe do 1 or 2 refreshes a month instead of doing it all at once. If it's not benefiting you in the short term, it doesn't make sense to rush it. So if Executor's working for you, then that's fine, but you kind of want to future-proof yourself. And Leviathan's going to help future-proof you. And a lot of the prestige needed is locked behind level 7 abilities. So basically what that means is, even if Trench comes out and you're not 7 stars yet, and you realize, hey, I actually can get this ship, you'll have Leviathan, which will be great for GAC, but you'll be able to pivot to Trench before you've used like literally all of your prestige on it. And then you can continue just working on it in the background each month. I do think it's going to be super important for you. Your guild is pushing you to do 2 SMs. You've been here in the stream. You've heard me say it. Night Sisters. Based on where your Night Sisters are, you kind of already are sort of close to being there. It's not the hardest SM in the world, but it is a little bit of a pain in the ass because Dash does so much damage with his opening AoE. The trick is that you use Old Daka lead, and you want to mod her like super high health. I think mine has like 160,000 health, and then from her leadership ability she gets like 50% or something like that. Mine are all R8, and I'm able to auto it at R8 with the modding that I have. And my modding's not great. Old Daka is modded well, Marin is modded well, the rest are kind of modded about average. And I'm 6 for 6 on autoing it at R8. But if you really only want to go to R7 just for the SM, just make sure that Old Daka is modded super high health. And make sure, you know, that you're using her lead, not the Talzin lead. They're a team that provides so much utility through ROTE, and they're going to give you that SM so that you're getting the get that your guild is kind of like mandating that you get right now. It's also going to give you that CT2 and that CT3 of that last assault battle. So it kind of kills a lot of birds in one sitting right there. A lot of birds with one stone. I'm one of those guys that's using idioms wrong now. I'm getting old. Holy shit. So they might be a really strong contender for you as like a core team, not a GL team, to be able to kind of, you know, work in what your guild is requesting of you. I do think that before you really start working too heavily on core teams, though, Jabba is a really strong contender as a GL. because as you start to move into the part of the game where you're doing a lot of extra modding and you're doing a lot of extra new characters, that Smuggler's Run 2 event is going to be super, super solid for you. It's going to be really strong. It's going to help you out a lot. It's going to give you the materials that you need. They're going to help. They're not going to give you the CT3 on Rebel Assault or Rebel Roundup because you already have it. But he is a great conquest toon to have as well, especially when you're struggling to find something for like a no Ufu Sith Jedi trait. And he's great in GAC and TW. He also has a node in every single NS territory in ROTE. So all those things that your guild wants, it's going to check off. And all the things that you're going to need are going to be checked off by that. And it's going to lead you into Jedi Knight Luke, right? Which is kind of... He's not going to be as important to you as it... Well, you might have him. Let me just... yeah, you have Jedi Knight Luke, but you don't have Jedi Master Luke. Okay. Man, you're so close to Jedi Master Luke. These are things that like you need. You need. Oh, man. I'm just like finding all these things here. Go for Jedi Master Luke first, just because he's so close, right? You're there already. Freaking do it. He's a conquest beast. Make that happen. Really strong arm yourself into Leviathan, just because it's going to help you in that slow farm. Then go for Jabba. You can kind of work in the Night Sisters whenever you have the time. I know that you have to work on Jedi Knight Calcastus right now, and that's fine. But while you're working on that, you can be shard farming like Kursatan, doing maybe just a couple battles a day right now. Actually, let me just double check on my phone. It's not going to pull up on screen, but I want to check up. No, Kursatan is definitely... I'm thinking of Leia requirements. Kursatan is definitely accelerated. So maybe do just like 5 or 6 battles a day so that you can still get relic material in. And then by the time you actually need to work on Jabba, if you have more battles that you need to do, you can kind of spearhead that a lot quicker. Go for Jedi Master Luke, go after Leviathan, work in the Night Sisters around the area as you kind of get excess materials. Obviously, you have to work on Jedi Knight Calcastus in the very short term. 100% be going for Jabba after that. When you're done with that, you know, work on Iden, work on all of these other things. The reality is the ROI on the raid is not going to be super great for you right now, because the things you're going to be spending and the things you're going to be getting in return are not going to kind of work out to be copacetic, to use a term that's even older than I am. Those are things that you can kind of focus on when you want to, and you can decide to side farm stuff. But I think you really shouldn't consider those side farms until after Jabba. And after you've done Jabba, and once you get to that point, I think we'll be at a point where either a new GL is announced or a new raid is announced, and you might consider wanting to pivot to some other big farm. And I think right now you're decidedly in the mid game. And once you have Jabba, you'll be more in the mid to late game, more towards the late game side, and that's going to really significantly help you out. That's the point when, you know, if you want to go for side stuff, that's when you do it. Jabba's just too important to you. And I don't even really like mods that much, but I cannot stress to you enough just how important Jabba is going to be for your account. Black Hammer, man, I know you and I, we chat like every couple of days, but that's just a testament to the fact that you have been so GAC focused, and you've kind of pushed ahead of where someone your account size would normally be, which is a plus. So if you start losing a couple matches in a row, it's not a big deal. You know, you've kind of pushed ahead, you're leveling out, and then as those teams build over the next couple of weeks, you'll see where you need to be, you know, and you'll have the time for those teams. You're looking at everything as like the short term, like in the moment thing. I try to look at everything as like a 6 to 12 month time frame, and I try to give realistic time frames of myself so that I don't get too frustrated. With all of that said, I hear my wife is up. We're gonna go see a movie. So Sunday morning brunch with Egnards is going to conclude in just a moment. I appreciate everybody coming out and joining me and spending. A lot of you spent 2 hours with me, which is crazy, and that's your time, and I super appreciate that. Hopefully you had a drink yourself. Hopefully you had your coffee. Whatever team you want to win the Super Bowl, hopefully they win, except for the 49ers, because I'm Team Taylor Swift. Long Live is a great song. I'm a little annoyed at the Chiefs because I'm a Broncos fan and they beat us out, but whatever. I'm still Team Taylor Swift. If you enjoyed it and you're not already following me either on Twitch or, on YouTube, I'm hoping that you saw at least that I provide content that I think at least is a little bit entertaining, but also educational. And on Reddit, I do a lot of math-based posts and timeline-based posts for people. I am very conversational on Discord, lowercase e, GNARDS. I'll help you out with your roster. As long as you respect my time, I try to respect your guys' time. So I appreciate the morning. I should be dropping a new Tales episode, I think tomorrow. Bones and I had a lovely chat yesterday. So hopefully you guys tune in for that and enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. Peace out, everybody. Thank you. We will be doing this next weekend. I'm trying to do this every Sunday that I don't have something going on. I've been